Alright guys, so today is January 28th, 2025, and I just wanted to show you guys the two trades that I'm currently in right now and the reason why I took them. Alright, so let's get into it. So starting here with Nas 100, if we just erase everything and I'll draw everything back up for you guys. If we just starting here, and these darker gray areas is an indicator I have called kill zones. And so I don't have no gap candlesticks. I use this indicator called no gap candlesticks. So I'm not using the regular trading view candlesticks. I'm using these no gap candlesticks. So just to break down my indicators for you guys as well. So getting back into Nas, the reason why I took this trade is because one, I missed my original entry down here. And the reason why I would have gotten in down here is I'll show you, is I would have been using this prior resistance area here, waiting for it to be broke. So I had this resistance area here, and you can see all throughout out of session, price was using this as resistance and breaking up to the upside. And so what I was looking for this morning, which I didn't wake up until roughly around 10 p.m. Eastern time or 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I missed the move. Where's 10? So 10 a.m. was already here. So around the time I woke up, the move was already like taking off. So my second option was to look for another area where I could potentially find an entry. And so I used this area here as my entry area. So we had this resistance right here, and I'm gonna break down how my strategy is for you guys right now. So at this resistance area here, once price broke above it, I now have my indication that above this area, price has the power to move up to the upside from here. So I knew that buyers come into the market at this level. So all I did from here was I waited patiently, and from here I just waited for the market to give me an entry signal. So I took my entry from the 30-minute time frame, and the reason why is because it looks the cleanest. As you can see, we still have that resistance. Price gave me an indication showing me buyers can push up from here, and we have this area here, the new high price created. And then we got our retest. And so once he got our retest, I could have entered down here, but I didn't like the way the markets looked because price could have easily pushed back down to here. Price could have easily pushed back down to this area, and then we could have gotten our bounce from here back up. And so the reason why I waited and I took my entry here is once price created this bearish candlestick, we showed that we were using this area as support. And let me mark it so you guys can see the complete area. We're using this zone right here as support. And from this area, this is where we got our continuation back to the upside. So from here, all I did was wait for an entry signal, which I seen that on the 30-minute, we're printing this bullish engulfing. And so once we got here and we broke kind of like the body of this bearish candlestick, I took my entry with a 50-point stop loss. So my entry looks just like this. Took my entry here with a 50-point stop loss, and I'm aiming for a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. And it's very simple, guys. So my strategy is just basically built off of price creating higher highs, higher lows, and me getting in off of the low. So if price is in an uptrend, all my strategy is I let price break a area, show me where it wants to go, come back to get me, which is price is printing the higher low, and then I take my entry up. So I'm getting in at the lowest point possible, looking for price to create the new high, which in this sense it did. And same for the downtrend. If we have price creating lower lows and lower highs, all I do is mark up the previous support area that was broken and wait for price to come back, creating the lower high to use it as resistance now. And then I take my sell looking for price to create another lower low, and so forth. And it's rinse and repeat. And so I'm strictly a price action trader. And as you guys can see, this opportunity is playing out for me. And let's get into the US30 trade that I took, which is not looking the best anymore. It found some area of rejection, which we're going to see why here in a second. So if I get rid of all this, I'll show you guys why my entry came down from here. So I took my entry off the 15-minute time frame. And as you guys can see here, this is a much cleaner example of my strategy. So we had this resistance area here that was broken, which I was going to use as my entry point if price decided to come back. And so you can see here we have our resistance here, and the second price came in with this bullish engulfing. That's where I have my indication. And so this right here on the US30 is a cleaner way of breaking down my trade strategy. Price created this higher high, so now I know above this area price can go here. There's a higher probability of price wanting to push back up to this area from this level. And so once we created our higher high and price started to give a correction, I now have my correction phase. And so during both of these phases, step 1 and step 2, I am not in a trade at the moment. I am just waiting for the market to come back to get me. So once we break this resistance area and price pushes up to create this higher high, I now have my indication showing me what price could do at this point up to here. So now I know from this resistance area that gets broke above this area, buyers come into the market and they push hard. So pause. So from that point on, I'm just waiting, patiently letting price tell me where it wants to go. I'm not guessing. I'm not trying to predict where the market's going to go. I just allow the market to tell me where it wants to go. It's that simple. Once price finds its new high, which will be my take profit area from that point, creates that high. It's my take profit area. Now I know above this area, price wants to get here. So all I did was wait for my correction. And once price came back here and broke back below this level a little bit, the second price came back above, I took my entry, which is step 3 of my strategy. And the very last step is this is where I get into the trades, and then I just sit and let the market do what it does. And we either win or we lose. And so from here, I got in because I knew, all right, we printed our higher high, price came back to grab me, creating its higher low, and now it's pushing back up. So now I know that above this level, price wants to get here, so I could take a calculated trade now, and I use a 50-point stop. And now I can look for my take profit back to this area. And so I literally just allow the market to tell me what it wants to do. I don't guess. I don't try to predict. I don't do anything. I just wait for price to break either resistance area in a uptrend, which it currently broke this resistance, create a new higher high, finding new resistance. And then I get in off the higher low, which is a higher low / support area, to then push price back up. And if price wants to continue, now I'm already in on the move up for price to create this new high. So I'm already in the move now. So if price decides it wants to create a new high, I can make a decision once price gets here on if I want to take my profits or allow it to run. And so if price continues to push from this area, if we make it here and we continue to push past, I could hold. And now I have an indication above this resistance area. Price tell me where it wants to go, creating a new resistance, new higher high. Wait for the pullback, the correction, and then I get back in off of the continuation back up. So just rinse and repeat. Price making higher highs and higher lows, which is also forms of resistance and support. And then once price comes back, I take my entry, and then I'm riding. And if price decides it wants to push in, now I'm in the trade on the way up to the newfound resistance / higher high. And then I could take my profits wherever I feel free, or continue to let it run like a hold and try to catch another entry for another move, depending on where the markets are at currently in time, which it looks like we're getting a little bit of rejection. So we will see. But yes, guys, that is my entire strategy from step 1 to step 3. It's a very simple 3-step strategy. I wait for my indication, get my correction, and take my continuation, and then I could peacefully sit and wait for the trade to hit my take profit. And it's either I win or I lose. That's it. And that's the name of the game. You either win or you lose. And all trading is finding an edge, using risk management, and then using that edge as a higher probability of one thing happening over another. And let me show you guys this here. And so to keep my emotions in check sometimes, because we're all traders and we know that your emotions is what kills you in trading. So how I keep my emotions intact and calculated and in order and basically as stress-free as possible is if I'm feeling eager to want to get out of a trade or over risk or any of that stuff, I just put this on the chart and I'll read it for you guys. It says anything can happen, so don't have any emotion towards your trades. So me getting in here, I'm not saying that, okay, because I got in here, price has to get to this area. It doesn't. It can continue to shoot down if it wants to. So me understanding that, that's where risk management comes into play. So me understanding that I can still take my trade, but using proper risk management. So if in case the market does decide it wants to do the opposite of what my edge, my higher probability is anticipating it doing, I'm okay with getting into the trade and taking a loss. So I'm already accepting my risk just by this first sentence here. Okay, step 2 or number 2 is you do not need to know what will happen next in order to make money. And that is very true. You don't need to know what's gonna happen next. Like, I don't know price is gonna get here. I just have a higher probability of price wanting to get back up here than it wanting to sell. That's all it is. I'm not predicting it. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not anything. I just have an edge, and I take my trade based off my edge, and win or lose, I'm gonna continue to do the same thing, rinse and repeat, and you guys should as well. Number 3, there is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge in the market. And so what that means there is I could take this setup every single time, and that doesn't mean that just because I have success one time that I'm gonna have success the next time. So say if this exact same trade played out tomorrow and I take the trade here again, just because if I win on this trade today doesn't mean tomorrow's gonna come in, I'm gonna do the same thing. Tomorrow could come in and price could push up and come stop me out and continue to push. Or it could come stop me out and then give the move. It could do anything. All you have to do is, if you have an edge, trust your edge, trust your strategy, follow your rules, use proper risk management, and protect your mentals. And whatever happens from there happens. You don't control the markets. We will never have enough money to move the markets ourselves. So all we have to do is have an edge, execute on our edge every time it becomes present, and whatever happens, happens. And accept your risk. Do not over risk, guys. I'm trying to tell you. Step 4 or number 4 is an edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. So that's basically going into what I've been saying as my edge. I'm not predicting the markets or anything. All I'd have is a higher probability of the buyers wanting to come back into the market at the area where I took my entry over the sellers wanting to continue to push price down from that area. That's all it is. And last but not least, every moment in the market is unique. So that doesn't mean that, like I was going back, this is just one trade. This is the unique movement of the market on Tuesday, January 8th, 2025. Tomorrow, we may not get a move. Tomorrow, we could get our setup and we could lose. Tomorrow, we get our setup and we could win, and price can skyrocket or price can tank. Anything can happen. All that matters is that I'm executing my setup, and that's that. That's it, guys. And so currently I'm up $416 on US30, which is YM in futures. I switched from Forex, so I still say US30 sometimes. And then on NAS, we are up 180, so we are up currently $600, which is fairly good right now. So yeah, guys, that is everything. And right now we're just gonna wait and see how the market plays out, whether it decides it wants to give us what we want or not. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna play some music and we're gonna rock out.
Stuck inside that grave a long time. Didn't think I'd make it through those long nights, but you never late, you always on time. Remember when you got me out there, you got me out there, and now I see your blessings every day. Thankful that your kingdom's on the way. Angels all around me, hear them sing like, oh, I'll never get used to this. Get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, rock about the grave that I'm alive now. Told the devil, boy, you out of time now. Spirit, don't leave me on the fire now. I know it won't ever die out. Won't ever die out. And now I see your blessings every day. Thankful that your kingdom's on the way. Angels all around me, hear them sing like, oh, I never get used to this.
I never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. I wanna be singing like, oh, I never get used to this.
From the morning to the evening, I can sing your praise all day. From the prison to the garden, you're the God who's breaking chains. When I look back on my whole life, there's a silver lining of grace. I can't wait to thank you, Jesus.
I never get used to this. I never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I never get used to this. I never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I never get used to this. I gotta run that back. I'm about to have a good day, no matter what they say. Sun is shining down on me, birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day. Let's play this. It all be so simple. I'd rather make it hard. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna get out of this position here. That's not really doing too much for me at the moment. Praying that the days will get more clear. I've been staring at my flaws right in the mirror, but the Lord will provide, and that's the same thing as saying Yahweh Yireh. Might just take a trip to see the Jordan River, where they baptized Jesus. I'm trying to go to clean up all my spirit. I'm on top of faith, I'm not just somewhere near it. And if it ain't God, I promise ain't no way that I could fear it. No, I left you for a while, but I'm back now, and all I ask is if you stand by me. I don't care about once, I only pray for my needs. I couldn't see the light I found to make me know by his zing. I've been protected by the Lord, demons can't go by me. Somebody say amen. In the past I used to read my Bible, never made sense. Now I'm always stepping in a word like the pavement. Feel it in my soul, sometimes I can really taste it. And on my path I don't walk, but they can take that up with G.O.D. I think I'm about to get out the trick, cause it's showing that it wants to reverse. Now I'm on a long bumpy ride, I gotta hold on. Used to just complain about my life, but it just goes on. Always seeing dark clouds, I'm barely having no sun. I can't rush a thing, it's always gonna be a slow run. No, I ain't having no fun, I'm focused on my digits. Ask me if I got time, I got no minutes. I'm just trying to make decisions. Asking me if I got time to chill, I can't even do no kick. I just been focused on this road, it's me and God upon this mission. Him, I ain't gonna worry about nobody. It seemed like praising him really became one of my hobbies. I got tired of hustling, trying to get rich just like I'm Roddy. But I made it back to him, so he gon' always stand beside me. I'll be staring at my flaws right in the mirror, but the Lord will provide, and that's the same thing as saying Yahweh here. Might just take a trip to see the Jordan River, cause that's where they baptized Jesus. I'm trying to go to clean up all my spirit. I'm on top of faith, I'm not just somewhere near it. And if it ain't God, I promise ain't no way that I could fear it. But I'm back now, and all I ask is if you stay by me. Yeah, all I ask is if you stay by me. And if you stay by me, all I